A bug-out bag isn't just about social unrest and things like that. Imagine your car breaks down or you run out of gas and you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no cell phone service. What are you going to do? What if you're stuck in traffic during a winter storm for 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours? What are you going to do? Do you need something in your car to be prepared for these situations? So it's a normal day and you're at work doing what you do, and suddenly you read on the news that there was a chemical plant explosion. America had 45 chemical plant explosions, many of them causing towns to be evacuated or hunkered down. And while this is happening, your kids are at school and your spouse or significant other is stuck at home with no transportation. Disasters happen, emergencies happen, both natural and unnatural. Some of them we can anticipate and sometimes we just can't anticipate them. So it's important that we prepare in advance. Having a bug-out bag for your car and having a bug-out bag in your house is an important first step in being prepared for any kind of situation. Hey folks, my name's John and welcome to my bunker. So today is episode 5 in a series we're doing on SHTF, where shit hits the fan. Now, I know in the previous episodes we talked about social collapse and things like that, but, really being a prepper is just somebody who wants to be less dependent on unreliable institutions and be able to help themselves and others in the event of an emergency. So today's topic is the bug-out bag, and that's like everybody's favorite topic. It's probably the number one searched on thing when it comes to preppers and things like that. So your bug-out bag should cover 3 main areas, okay? There's food and water. You should be able to have some nutrition. There's personal security. You should be able to protect yourself and your person and stuff like that. And then there's like environmental security to make sure, you're protected from, the weather, the rain, whatever's coming that way. But as long as you check those 3 boxes, you got yourself a very useful bug out bag. I'm a cheap guy, all right? I don't like to spend a ton of money on things like that. So I do have bug out bags. So we're going to kind of talk about how I put them together and what's in my bags. And there's different levels of bags, right? So first you can have like a basic bag, just something to get you through a minor emergency or something like that. And then you can have like a more secure bag, like, maybe last you a couple of days or get you out of a more serious situation. Finally, there's like the family bug out bag. So you got a wife and kids or a husband and kids, and you guys got to maybe evacuate your house or something like that. You got to be prepared for that. You don't want to be throwing things in a suitcase, when, the fire is burning down the house up the street. So, yeah, you got to think about that stuff in advance. And that's what we're going to talk about today, and we'll go through all that. Hey, so maybe your bug out bag, maybe your emergency preparedness kit looks like this. You just have a bottle of wine or, something a little stronger. I'm not a drinker myself. I would probably have some coffee in there, little cream and sugar, something like that. But, if I have coffee, I can pretty much get through any emergency, I think. Well, okay, maybe we do need a few more items. So your bug out bag, your emergency preparedness kit, could be as simple as this, okay? What do we have? A couple bottles of water, a little bag of beef jerky. We got a free map. And if you watched the last video, you need this magnifying glass. You got some pepper spray for protection. You got a little rain poncho. And you got a multi-tool, something like with pliers and some knives and things in it. And this right here is a basic bug-out bag right here. You could just throw it into a small knapsack or something like that, throw it in the trunk of your car, and you're good. This would sustain one person for a full day and get you out of an emergency situation. It's more than enough. And what's the cost of this? So we got a map for free. Got a magnifying glass. It was $7. Got some pepper spray. That was like $10. Little beef jerky, that was like $5. Couple bottles of water, $5. A multi-tool, this is like $10. I got it online, it was pretty cheap. And a $2 raincoat, you know what I mean? A poncho. That's your starter kit. That you put that in your car, you're going to be fine. So this right here, that's like $25 to $30. Now you might want to add a few things. So this is more my idea of what a good bug out bag that you would keep in the trunk of your car would look like. And this is sufficient for one person for a couple of days if you needed it to be. So this whole situation probably cost close to $100. And like I said, I'm a dollar store, thrift store kind of person. This is not high-end stuff, but it's enough. It'll get me through. So let's unpack it and talk about what's in here. First item that you want to have is a blanket. Maybe you put some loops on there in case you wanted to carry it somewhere. Don't go out and buy some like super rescue blanket that's going to cost you $100. Look in your closet and see if there's something maybe, your mother-in-law gave you for Christmas one year that you thought was great and you really can't live without. So put it in your trunk, As long as it's, a decent blanket, it should work. Like this is pretty big. It's I think a king size blanket. If you don't have one that you want to part with, go to a thrift shop and buy some cheap thing, It's an emergency blanket. It's not like, you're decorating your living room with it. The next thing is a stick. This is a wooden dowel that I got from Home Depot, and I think it costs like $10, maybe a little less. It's oak. It's 1 1/4 inches thick, and I put some duct tape on here for a handle. A very small 80-pound person could do a lot of damage to a much larger person with one of these if you know what you're doing. It's not like a gun. Like if you shoot off a gun, you're creating a scene. There's possible legal repercussions, and you're attracting attention that you probably don't want because somebody with a bigger gun might come a-running. You know what I'm saying? All right, so here's my bag. I stuffed it all into a gym bag. This is about $100 worth of stuff, maybe a little more. You would do better to use a kid's book bag or something like that. We'll unpack this, decide for yourself. What do I need? What do I not need? What's important? What's not important? All right, I guess we'll start off with the basics. Food and water, okay? You want about 2 days worth of water, so I probably put like 4 bottles of water in there. And I want to talk about these food packages. These are expensive. They're about $10 each. But these 2 packs will last me 2 days easily. The beauty of these things is they last 25 years. And that's one of the problems people run into with food products and things like that is they have an expiration date. Then you got to keep checking it every 3 months or replacing stuff every 3 months. That's no good. You want to put it in there and forget about it. Next, I want to talk about clothes. Look in your closet, find something you don't really wear that still fits, or go to a thrift shop or something like that and get yourself some decent clothes, a sweatsuit, something like that, and keep it in plastic. You want to keep everything in plastic because wet things do you no good. An emergency poncho. This is $1.98. And gloves, because you might have to touch some icky stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like touching icky stuff. So I have some gloves. And, if you have to pick up something hot or something like that, they're good. Like these have some kind of protection in them. I think I just got these at like a Home Depot or a Walmart or something like that. A map. We talked about this in our previous video, and always if you're going to have a map, make sure you have a magnifying glass and keep it in plastic so it doesn't get wet. A wet map is a useless map. A first aid kit. Now in your first aid kit, I have like a toothbrush and a toothpaste. Got them at the dollar store pretty cheap. There's some feminine products and some bandages and things like that, and a bottle of aspirin. Some miscellaneous items that you should have in your pack. Flashlight. Like I said, get a cheap one, not something. This thing works great, okay? It's only got to last you 2 days. A lighter, because all the coffee in the world's not going to help you if you can't build a little fire and heat it. Which leads me to the cup. This is something that's worth spending a couple dollars on. It's like $5, I think. It's not really expensive, but it's a metal cup, and you can put it right on a fire. It'll heat the stuff right up. That's why you need those gloves, so you can grab your coffee cup, right? Some candles. Maybe I'm not like trying to cut down a tree in the forest if I don't have to. I like a little string and some duct tape because you just never know what you're going to need. Car breaks down, the hose is bad. Throw a little duct tape on it, right? Maybe tie it off with some string. You need a multi-tool, something, that's got a knife in it and some pliers or something like that. And then the last thing is this is a dollar store tablecloth. It's a moisture barrier. So if you're, stuck somewhere or you want to sit and eat, you don't have to sit on the wet ground. So this whole kit, it added up to like $100 just for that small bag. Now, I do have one of these high-speed prepper backpack things, that you get. It's all camo. It does have some nice straps on it, and I can actually tie my blanket to the bottom of it. So that would make it easier if I were to hike somewhere. So this thing cost a couple dollars, I think it was like $50 maybe, something like that, $40, $50. It wasn't super expensive. But that's what I keep my stuff in. Now, for a family backpack, you pretty much want to double everything that's in the other backpack and add a few creature comforts, Possibly a small tent or something. One final note, you might want to make a copy of your driver's license, passports, social security cards, and keep at least a copy with you. Make sure that the originals are secure somewhere or bring them with you. So, hey, folks, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and you got something useful out of it. I'm not the gold standard on everything, but I'm just a regular guy who did a little research and I try to be prepared for emergencies and stuff like that. All right, take care, kids. Peace.